commonsensical questions of this government. First of all, as Sundaram pointed out, it's extremely ironic and reflects on the travesty of democracy that on Republic Day, when we remember the Constitution and Ambedkar, and we think of equality, fraternity and liberty and rights of people, when we think of economic and social rights, when we think of the articles that empower us to seek information and get it, for all of us who seek social justice, that on that particular day, the government of India enters into a deal which is both secretive against its own people in terms of what will happen to people in Jaitapur. It's also following a plan of development in which it looks at not people's benefit, not people's growth, people's rights, but at propping up a falling and inept foreign company called Arriva. Now, if this is the kind of present we are going to get on Republic Day from our Prime Minister, it's a statement on Indian democracy and governance. It is appalling that information relating to nuclear plants and to the kinds of impact it will have is not made available to people who live in that area. If the Constitution prevails, if the government is serious about governance, if the right to information law is actually in place, if all of us as citizens have a right to see that safety comes first before anything else, Jaitapur and its citizens have a right, and we all have a right along with them, to know exactly what will happen if the plant begins and this nuclear park is established, exactly how many of these fault lines are possibly going to cause huge earthquakes, how many people will lose their lives, what will happen to them. It is the extraordinary callousness of this deed that really shocks me today, because every life is valuable. And if this country has to progress, it has to progress protecting its people and have a development which is kind, which is compassionate, and which allows for growth with humanity and justice. So all this is completely unacceptable. At the level of the right to information, there is an override in the Act which says whatever information impacts the life of citizens, there is an override which says such information should be brought out into the public domain. If this information is not brought out, I think we should consider going to the High Court to demand that this information, to which we have already had access, is definitely going to impact the lives of many people in that particular area, and potentially this information should be is of a very crucial nature and should be made public. And I think we should go to the Delhi High Court or whichever High Court we can and look at it and see whether there's possibility of getting that information. I also think that there should be a big debate on energy needs. We've been saying this since the days of Kudankulam, but I really think that the people of India should now, since they're all getting more and more literate because of access to so much knowledge, insist that there be a huge energy discussion and debate on what kinds of energy we need and what are the sources of energy which do not have side effects, and why we do not develop such energies, and why is it that business becomes more important than even energy. Business becomes more important than the lives of its own citizens. Business becomes more important than politics. It's overwhelming us. So we really need to know, particularly about nuclear energy and in relation to it all energy, what are the alternative development plans we can have. We also have to fight, I think seriously now, all of us come together on a common platform to say that this kind of governance is unacceptable, this kind of deciding and decision making in which people's well-being is not considered is unacceptable, and in fact the development agenda should be actually placed before every district council, should be placed before the state government, and then every particular state government must give its approval. I really think we have to take an aggressive and much larger position to really protect all ourselves, including the impact nuclear energy is going to have in Jaitapur. I think that the governance has really reached an all-time low in our country today.
Thank you.